So a couple of good comments. That you guys sent me. One from Scott Hebert, R.I.P. Rest in peace, that last painting. Yes, indeed. Rory, you mentioned too, here's your comment. Well done, Phil. Folks rarely appreciate that failure is part of the process. It sure is. It just absolutely is. There are so many different opinions out there and so many different ways of looking at things. Failure happens to absolutely everybody. But that's fine. Go ahead and do what you got to do anyway, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. The important thing is to realize when it's not going to work. And then clear it off the table as far as I'm concerned. Just get rid of it. Broody 58 commented, I have a stack of them leaning against a wall. To work on them would feel like a weight on my shoulders, an unenjoyable chore. That's how I feel too. Now, if I were a hobbyist, that would be one thing. I could say, okay, maybe there's some hope for it, what have you. Maybe at some point in the future, I'll get back to revisiting them. And there are a few, I do have a few, they're actually studies pretty much, that I have sitting around that need a little bit of something. I'll only keep them for so long, and eventually I'll clear the slate. I don't want that kind of stuff. It feels like a weight around my neck. I give them, there is a time limit that I'll keep them, and if I can't see something that I can do constructively and sort of pretty decisively, they'll just go, because then you're better off starting with a clean slate. You just move on. Don't look back at your successes or your failures. Just keep moving. Another one from Broody 58. Thing is, it's a closed-in area, like a room, not open. Not open-aired landscape like a fenced yard. I think you're probably commenting on the subject matter rather than, on the subject matter itself. And we're talking about the painting that I just sliced, that I just destroyed. I don't mind a more intimate view of things. I don't mind some close-ups. I kind of find that painting was kind of a cozy thing. It was warm. It was friendly. But my approach was weak and indecisive. And on camera, you may not have seen it so much, but the corrections that I continued to make on it looked weak. When you stand face to face with it, I view that as a very weak painting. There's no strength. I'm not marching into it with decisive action. I'm kind of tentatively touching a few areas, hoping things improve. So that's the process. But if that's the process I go through, the yield shows that I have been weak in my decision making. And I like a strong painting. I don't like something that looks like I've played with, that looks like I've had to play with it a whole bunch to come up with any kind of success. So I hope that answers those. J.P. Townsend commented, I don't know what he commented, or looks like an emoji for a trumpet maybe, and an hourglass. I don't know. I don't read emoji. I'm not going to learn it. Russell commented a whole new aspect to the process. Again, regarding that same painting that I just described. I think I already commented on that in writing, saying, yeah, maybe it should be included in the steps of creating a painting. Anyway, okay, so I've left this camera staring at the next painting for a while, and for the sake of comparison, the last painting I had touched things all over the place, little tiny bits here and there, and when I wasn't satisfied with that, I went with my brush and I highlighted things all over the place, here and there. And no, stop it. That's not for me. For some people, fine, but for me, it's not. I have a warm sky here. The strokes are all pretty direct. I cut in around these trees that I drew here. Again, the lines are strong. The forms are simple. It's only a 16 by 20. Well, actually, it's a vertical, so that makes it a 20 by 16 inch canvas. But cut in around them, didn't use a brush, just this particular knife to cut around and form my most important line, which is this one. And I'm going to, my colors are in place, the sky is basically painted. I'm not going to use this knife. I'm going to use this knife to lay a few highlights in the sky. And I use this knife because it's shaped. The blade is shaped like this. So it's very easy to lay paint on without having a line from the tip of your palette knife digging in anywhere, or the base, you know. All of my other knives are very flat. They're very just flat, and in some cases a little bit going the wrong direction. You know, if this is that would be concave. You know, this is convex, and it has a very rounded tip, so I kind of like using that. So what I'm going to do now, I'm probably not going to finish this guy completely right now, but I'm going to jump in and I'm going to lay in more strength in the sky. The palette for this guy, excuse me, at the moment I have to think, not talk. I'm going to continue on this, but I'm not going to drag you along for it. I'm just going to try to get this guy done tonight, and then we can revisit other areas. Tomorrow. What was I saying? Right, the palette for this guy is nope. Let me just. No, I don't want that there. I'm sorry. I'll keep yapping in a minute here, but for the moment, I just need to take care of business. All right. What stays, what goes, I'll decide that off camera. Okay. Must back camera up. Now you can see the painting, you know, in its proper proportions. Palette on this guy is yellow ochre, alizarin crimson, cobalt blue. I'm only using cobalt blue as my blue for this guy. What did I say? Yellow ochre, alizarin crimson, cobalt blue. Hints of raw umber now and then. In places that I want to tone it down, I want to soften the chroma a little bit. I want it to stay a bit warm, but not be competitive. We have a bit of raw umber introduced here. We have some down here, 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 and here. Other than that, the colors are pretty clear. And obviously titanium white. I'll square the camera off here for a moment so that you can actually see what I see. But yeah, you can see there's going to be quite a bit of water in the foreground. I don't know, you know, I'm more than likely I'm going to lay some substance here, but I don't have to decide that yet. And the more I paint up here, the easier it's going to be for me to decide what I'm going to put down here. We're at a white canvas. I would have drawn the whole thing in, but this morning I stained it, and it's still soaking wet. It'll still be wet tomorrow. The tint's going to be wet. So I didn't want to just start mucking around in there with some charcoal or some paint if I wasn't quite sure what I wanted. I knew what I wanted here. You know, I'm very happy with these shapes. A little bit of a breeze blowing. You know, moving the treetops over a little bit, but no crazy winds, nothing strong. And the sky, I think it's strong, but it's sort of a misty, you know, ethereal look to it. But nice warm colors. Complementary, you know, very complementary, going from the yellows to the purples and the blues. Okay. Let's zoom in on that sky. Now let's really zoom in. That's the mess we deal with. But it sure is fun to make a mess and then back up and view it. Now, you do need a little bit of experience to trust the mess you're making, to trust that it's going to look okay from a distance. See what I mean, though? Very simple shapes. I haven't painted any individual branches or anything like that. Kind of gestural, very much impressionistic. And unlike the last painting, I love the impressionism of something. That's my love is indeed impressionistic painting. So, all right, that's still going to get a bit of love, but that's more or less where it sits. Yes, that orange spot is pretty much dead center. Don't worry about it. It's going to get moved around. It'll get manipulated. Okay, see you soon, guys.